G'day guys, Tom here from Different Drop with one of the real larrikins of the industry, our good mate Tom McCarthy from Queerly Wines. And if you don't know Queerly, well, what the hell are you doing, mate? Because Queerly's been around for a long time now, but continues to reinvent itself and make some of the more characterful and delicious wines in Mornington Peninsula and in the country, and we just love Queerly. So, Tom, mate, thanks very much for popping into Sydney to see us. Good to see you wearing a shirt, mate. Last time we caught up in Melbourne, I think you're having a hard time finding something with a button, so I appreciate the Tom.
Kind words.
Yeah,
kind words.
Always, mate. Listen, I guess as a bit of a next-gen winemaker, if you I can call you that.
Why not?
Give us a little bit of the background about Queerly and where the brand started, if you can, with Kathleen and Ken.
So,
and while you do, I'll pour a Pinot Grigio because I feel like that's kind of an apt place to.
That's a good spot to start. Absolutely. Okay, so Queerly, so mum and dad, Kathleen and Kevin. Started down of all places, they meant making wine up on the Granite Belt.
Right.
But they always had a fascination with Pinot Grigio, particularly my mum, and sort of pioneered it, I guess, down on the Mornington Peninsula and somewhat in Australia. And Queerly was born out of their original business, Tagamet. Once that was sold, they started Queerly in the early 2000s, and green Grigio was very important to us then, as of course was Pinot Noir. But since then it's evolved quite a lot, which I think is a fair thing to say. So big focus on Northeast Italy. Not quite sure where that came from, but it's definitely exploded for us. So Friulano and now Ribolla Gialla and Malvasia and these varieties, and also a big focus on viticulture now. So the home vineyard, which are these ones here, is certified organic. And then the other sites, of course, are run with sort of similar principles, lease sites. Yeah.
So, on the Grigio, because you've been very humble, but I think Kathleen was arguably a bit of a pioneer with Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris in Australia.
Yeah.
And there'd be many of us that wish she never brought it in. Or never started. But no.
She has been accused of that before. Yeah.
No, but I think you make a range of different Grigios, but they're all, and Gris for that matter, in different styles, but. Always love that they've got this real minerality and savoury sort of feel to them, which I think separates them from a lot of the other really boring sort of Pinot Grigios on the market.
And I think the Mornington Peninsula, there's lots of places you can grow the variety, but the Mornington Peninsula is very well suited to Pinot Gris and Pinot Grigio, and we do find that all the sites do offer really big differences. But I think that's just viticulture. We take it really seriously. We don't overcrop it. And we pick it when we think it's ripe, and hopefully you do get these wines with a lot of personality. We feel that it offers the same level of personality as Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
So this is the Ferry Maris.
Ferry Maris, yeah.
I love all the winemaking info in here, mate.
Yeah.
So obviously certified organic, which is
very
last few
important.
years certified, isn't it? And what else you got here? Hand picked, unirrigated, whole bunch. Wild yeast, bit of barrel ferment.
Yeah, just ticking all the boxes.
Look at that, ticking every bit of jargon you can possibly fucking put on a label. Partial mellow, even mellow. Let's just go with mellow. Undefined. Very cool. Anyway, this is a real textural.
Very textural. So we put them on long press cycles. We don't do any fining of the wines, obviously. And there's a big focus on texture.
Yeah. But still, it's not like it doesn't go into unctuous, because you got a couple like the Tuzzle Mosey, a couple of these Pinot Gris that Queerly do, which are quite rich, and this isn't along those lines.
No.
Like it still has zip and freshness, but just this savoury, spicy kind of.
Yeah, and that's it's hopefully the Grigio style, and we find the vineyards that are on the porous soils lower down the hill offer up that style a lot more. So we sort of embrace that, and then as you go up the hill, you get a lot more ripeness, and the flavour comes late. So we pick them and we get this sort of unctuous Pinot Gris style.
It's very cool. How many different Gris and Grigios do you have across the...
I think we do 6, which is probably about 5 too many.
Or 6 too many. Anyway, no, great option. To guzzle that or tip that out. You mentioned Northeast Italy, so I was reading earlier that Kev went and visited... was it Grosvenor back in 05 or 06 or something?
I think he did in 01 or 02.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Skin Contact for us has been going for a while. We sort of played around with it in 2007 and 2008. And then the first Queerly one came out was the Turbo Friulano in 2011. And these varieties, look, that region was always very famous for Pinot Grigio. We'd had a lot of success with the variety, obviously, so we went back to the well, had a look what else was working. That's when we got the Friulano over. And then since then we've expanded a little bit. And yeah, they're obviously not much to compare them to in Australia, but we're really excited by it.
So this is Friulano, Malvasia,
Ribolla Giallo,
and
Moscato Giallo. So it's a bit of a bastardisation.
Yeah. We'll just call it Lima Law. Keep it simple. But this has been, as you say, one of the only kind of blends of its type in Australia, which is very much inspired by those Northeast Italy Italian Skin Contact,
definitely
classic sort of wines. Think Grabner and Radicon and these sort of things. But this is a much more accessible price point than Radicon.
And I think what differentiates these wines a little bit in Australia is they are made with a lot of patience. There's a lot of really fun Skin Contact wines out there, and they're great to drink. These wines, they were made a little bit more maybe time in mind. So a long time on skin, 6 months in amphora, and then sort of 12 to 18 months in barrel. And then we bottle it unfined, unfilled, and all that jazz, but I mean, they're always very clear by the
It's super clean, isn't it? That's actually a delicious glass of wine. That is so, because I love that style, and I've always liked the Turbo Friulano, has been a favourite of mine. But it doesn't go into these really kind of oxidative sort of characters. It's really clean. The fruit's really clean and pure, but just texture, which is
what the focus is.
Very nice. And you mentioned you're doing you've got a straight Ribolla in barrel.
We do. So we've separated the varieties up now. We've got the Ribolla straight in barrel, so the 2021 and the 2022. So we're not sure when to release that.
Because you felt you need some more wines in the portfolio.
Yeah. We don't have enough SKUs. That'll bring us up to 30 or something. No, it's good where it's going. Small volumes, but really exciting variety. And we're backing it in. We're planning a little bit more on site. So we're pretty into it.
Just grafting over some Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, or some Pinot Noir maybe.
Red wine's gross anyway, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of gross red wine, Pinot Noir.
Yeah, that doesn't work on the peninsula.
Do you want to have a splash of this?
Cool, 17 rows.
17 rows. So this is a range of different Pinots in the portfolio from a couple of different sites, and this is off the Queerly home site. Comes from how many rows?
I think there's
17.
Something like that, 10 to 20. Yeah.
And this is the sort of flagship Pinot, I guess. Or?
It's for us. It's a really important one. So planted in 1982. So lovely old vines, amongst the oldest on the peninsula, and there's lots of fashions on how to make Pinot and all that sort of stuff, but it's unusual to be able to see wines from vines this old, and it's important to us. And it's whether it's where it stands on the peninsula or whatever, but it does give you this ability to look at where the region's headed.
And how do you go about making this then? Are you trying to be quite hands off and let the vineyards?
All the Pinots are made pretty similar, so pretty basic. Yeah, fruit comes in. We don't really add any sulfur or subtle wild ferment, and then let it ferment. Don't do too much work on it. A few punch downs, and then into barrel. 12 months in barrel, and that's it.
It's got a beautiful perfume. 21,
which is a really
21.
Good vintage.
Great vintage, cool vintage, and what I like about all the 21s is you get those lovely aromatics, and then just really midway, silky, kind of red fruited. Sort of
exactly, and it's a great vintage for an area like the peninsula, which has lots of little microclimates or whatever, because it's really showing up all the differences. It's an exciting vintage. They're not big wines. They're just really varietal.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and still has that savoury kind of component to it, which you see in all of your Pinots. Yeah. Awesome, mate. Thank you so much, guys. Queerly, as I said at the top, just one of the more unique producers, I reckon, on the peninsula.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that. I mean that the right way.
Hopefully, yeah.
It's special. No, but just very much like dancing to the beat of their own drum, you know, and great wine family, Kathleen, Kevin, Tom, and everyone doing an amazing job. And I just love the Pinots are great, but I just love the skinsy white wines. I think it's fascinating. There really is no one else in Australia with these sort of varieties going to this level with exploring skin contact wines, I think, which is really cool.
Heaps of fun. Yeah. Good to do.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, well, check out Queerly, check out these wines, get down to the cellar door.
Always get down to the cellar door, always open. Yeah,
Awesome.
got to check it out. Yeah.
Unreal. All right, next time. Thanks, guys.
Do it.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.